This little boy, his name is Christopher Bowen, okay? And this has been kind of going on over a 2-year span. A Texas woman, and I'm ashamed that this is coming out of the state of Texas, but it is, okay? A Texas woman has pleaded guilty in a Dallas court to recklessly causing injury to her child after exposing her son to years of unnecessary medical tests and procedures, according to reports. Woo! Did you guys hear that? I'm going to read that again. The woman by the name of Kaylene, Kaylene, let's go ahead and get her face up on the screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. And don't let the smooth taste fool you. Sometimes these women look nice and sweet, but on the inside, they're about as sour as anything. Kaylene Bowen-Wright. So Bowen, and then there's a dash and then Wright. So I don't know if she was married to this guy or not at one point, but she was she pleaded guilty. Let's correct that. She pleaded guilty in a Dallas County court to recklessly causing injury to a child after exposing her son to years of unnecessary medical tests and procedures like he was a fucking dog. Guys, you wouldn't even do this to your dog. Why would you do this to a living, breathing human being? But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of this story, but I'm going to let you guys watch the news videos, okay? 35-year-old Kaylene Bowen-Wright, had taken her son, Christopher Bowen, who is now 10 years old, and he's still alive, so thank God he's alive, to various medical centers in Dallas and Houston 323 times. Somebody please type the number 323 in the chat if you guys heard how many times that this little boy by the name of Chris Bowen, who's 10 years old right now, how many times did he go to the hospital? 323 times between 2009, which is from the moment he was born, and 2016. This is reported by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. In addition, he had undergone 13 major surgeries in this time. 13 major surgeries. Guys, I've only been through one surgery, and I'm telling you, it was traumatic for me. And it actually left me, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it left me with a permanent scar behind my ear that started to thicken up, which turns into a keloid. I had one surgery. And I'm a grown-ass man. What do you guys think that would do to a 10-year-old boy, an 8-year-old boy, a 1-year-old baby, a 2-year-old baby? This is a baby that she did this to, okay? And he lived to tell about it. Now, CPS had removed the boy and his 2 half-siblings from Bowen-Wright's care in 2017 after a staff at Dallas Hospital discovered that he didn't have cancer or several of the other symptoms that his mother insisted he was suffering from. How this got through the system 323 fucking times, I'm lost. Once, I could understand. Twice, I could understand. Maybe even a total of 10 times. I'm starting to throw the red flag around 10 times within a 10-year span. Once a year, that's pretty severe. And the fact that he didn't actually have these diseases that this mother was claiming is absolutely unacceptable. So they took the kids from her care in 2017. Now, the hospital subsequently alerted CPS, as they should and they're legally required to, setting in motion a series of events which eventually led to the mother's arrest, rightfully so. Now, Bowen-Wright, the mother, had long claimed that her son was dying. Do we have anybody in the chat that has ever had a family member, a cousin, a parent, or even your kid Have you guys ever had somebody in your family that was actually sick, that actually needed help? Can anybody testify today? For the people that are watching, we got 152 people here right now. If you'll click the thumbs up, it'll let other people know that we're live. Thank you to everybody that's already done so. I want somebody to testify if you've ever been in a situation, even if it was just a grandparent. You guys know as people get older, they do tend to get sick. I've watched my grandmother go through sickness. I've watched a number of my friends, and most of them were actually ladies. I was just thinking about this. My friend Monica, you know, if anybody from Oklahoma City is watching, y'all might remember Monica Gandy. I love Monica. Like, she's just an awesome spirit. And then before she passed away, Latasha Holly was another friend of mine that also passed away, and they both passed away, from my understanding, from cancer. What was really sad about my friend was the fact that I was hoping to be able to see her again. I didn't even know that she was sick, and I was trying to get her a job, and found out that she was in the hospital and wasn't going to be able to come to the interview that I had set up for her. And shortly after, I ended up finding out that she died. The reason why I want to conjure this pain just for a moment, if you guys can hear me out, is because, in my opinion, life is serious. Death is finite. You guys hear me? Life is serious. Death is finite. And in my opinion, you do not lie about an illness or a sickness or anything like that at all. You don't damn do it. In this particular case, what you have going on is a mother who apparently hated this father so much that she wanted to make sure that that father could not see the kid that he had that shares his same DNA. That is absolutely disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. So the fact that this woman doesn't treasure life, doesn't care, truly doesn't understand the value of life. That's the thing that I don't understand. How can you give life and not give a fuck about life? Can anybody explain that to me? How can you give life, be responsible for bringing life on this earth, and not care about the lives that you bring into this world? That should be your number one priority. Let me move on. Let me stop ranting. Let me move on with the story, okay? Now, the mother, by the name of Bowen-Wright, had long claimed that her son was dying, initially from a genetic disorder and later from cancer, even going as far as to set up fundraisers for him. Hashtag babies for benefits. You guys remember this? Babies for benefits. This is that story, okay? She set up fundraisers for him that apparently got funded. She allegedly also had the boy fitted with a feeding tube. Oh my God. She had the boy fitted with a feeding tube which went directly into his small intestine, a procedure which led to several life-threatening infections, according to authorities. Furthermore, the mother, Bowen-Wright, also tried to have her son added to a lung transplant list. Is my brother Tommy in here? Oh, hey, shout out to my brother Tommy Sotomayor. Like, Tommy is great at reading the chat. I am horrible with reading the chat. Until y'all say something, I'll be the missed it. But again, if you guys have not checked out Tommy Sotomayor's website, it is afatherlessamerica.com. And I'm going to tell you guys this. Hashtag babies for benefits. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you so much. Because it's becoming more clear now than it ever has. If you guys, I can't even give away the movie, but if you guys watch A Fatherless America, then that movie is going to point out a lot of the things that Tommy has been talking about this entire time. And this story is one single example of that. A very sad example of that. But what's going to manifest itself is the damage that this woman has done to this boy. She's just being a vindictive bitch. It's just as simple as that. Okay? Now, she had a feeding tube put in a perfectly healthy boy, which led to several life-threatening infections, according to authorities. Furthermore, she also tried to have him added to a lung transplant list. Tell me that's not sick, guys. Now, the boy's father, hashtag where's the father? Here's the father. Let me show you guys a picture of this guy. Because they had some really good photos of him, and I'm glad that they put the father in here. His name is Ryan Crawford. I have a couple of better photos of him. And I got to tell you, this is a good-looking guy. He looks like a stand-up father, and he is a victim. Oh, let me see. I will check it right now. I'm going to check it right now. I will take a pause for the cause. And again, shout out to my brother Tommy Sotomayor. What he did was he clicked one of those links that are in the description box. If you guys want to contribute to the platform, those links are in the description box. And I'm going to tell you guys this. This is why I love my brother Tommy Sotomayor. And it's not about anything that he does for me. It's about a relationship that we have, and it's about an understanding that we have. And this thing is about support. Like, we've been supporting my brother Tommy, and Tommy's come back and supported me. And my brother Tommy, I want to say thank you very much. For my dog is his message. And Tommy, my brother, I love you always. My loyalty is for life, my brother. I'm like that with all of my friends, and I really appreciate that. My brother Tommy Sotomayor show love with a whole 100, bro. A whole 100. And I really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Like that. That gets me right there, man. I really do. I really appreciate that. Let me also say thank you to Jimmy D, Pink Okami, and Princess. Matter of fact, I think Jimmy D and Pink Okami was yesterday, which is still cool. Shout out to them and Princess X. But again, my brother Tommy, thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that. Let's go back to this father. Ryan Crawford, good looking brother. And what you got going on here is a father who cared about his kid. And the situation that we're going through right now is perfectly depicted in the movie A Fatherless America, because this father's hands are tied. He literally went to court, and you guys have always said, well, you got to fight for your kids. You got to fight for your kid. Well, guess what? This boy's father, by the name of Ryan Crawford, did go try to fight for custody of this kid. And guess why they rejected him? The reason why they rejected him is because the mother had put this boy through so much shit, so much unnecessary stuff, so many surgeries, so many doctor's appointments, and tried to claim that he was sick. And the mother had a stacked ton of paperwork and said that this boy is medically unfit to be around his father, and his father needs to learn to care for a boy, in hindsight, that's not actually sick. Keep in mind, that means the father also paid money to an attorney, and that attorney took that time and that money to try and get custody and failed because the mother lied. Now, I want to also know this. Why did they not also get her for perjury? Isn't that a crime also? I could be wrong. Maybe it's not a crime. Maybe lying in court is okay, but let's move on. Crawford was even prevented from visiting his child at one point when he was just 3 years old. He said, I'm so happy that she decided to do the right thing. Eventually the lies had to stop, Crawford told the Star-Telegram in response to Bowen-Wright's plea. Now, hopefully, those who thought a mother could never do this to, or never thought a mother could do this to their child, will see that evil does exist. That's coming from the father. Now, again, the mother, Bowen-Wright's behavior is typical of people who have what's known as, what you guys saw people writing in the chat earlier, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Ooh, this is going to get me in some trouble, because y'all know I am a little bit of a jerk when it comes to this thing, because I don't believe in giving adults any excuses for the stupid decisions that they make against their kids. When you commit crimes against your kid, in my opinion, there is no such thing as postpartum. There is no such thing from suffering from mental illness. You know right from wrong. And if you have mental illness so much so that it's going to affect your judgment with dealing with a kid, then you shouldn't be a parent. You should not be allowed to give birth, and you for goddamn sure shouldn't be allowed to have custody of the kid. Here's Munchausen syndrome. It is a factitious disorder. How about that? It is a factitious disorder. It's fucking fake. A mental disorder in which a person repeatedly and deliberately acts as if he or she has a physical or mental illness which he or she is not really sick. Munchausen syndrome is considered a mental illness because it is associated with severe emotional difficulties. But I want you guys to catch Munchausen. Okay, Munchausen. My apologies. I'm not saying it right. Munchausen. But I want you guys to think about this. That's if you, in your head, believe that you have a disease. But what she did is she's putting this particular syndrome on her kid. They say it's a rare psychological disorder in which a caregiver, okay, well, they're explaining it here. A rare psychological disorder in which a caregiver exaggerates or makes up the symptoms of someone in their care, usually a child, often leading medical staff to perform unnecessary and sometimes painful or harmful testing and procedures, according to WebMD. Guys, I've never heard of nothing like this. JJ DuBose said it best. I think it's BS. I have never heard this before. Have any of you guys ever heard of this before? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is common. A lot of us have heard of postpartum. Have you guys ever heard of this? Munchausen? However you say it, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. You guys know that I do not read very well. Reading is not my strong suit. I've never heard of this. Now, the mother, Bowen, is facing up to 20 years in prison. Thank God. She is facing 20 years because I want you guys to remember that she pleaded guilty just recently within the past few days, and she's facing up to 20 years in prison for her actions that started a long time ago, back in 2009. She will be sentenced in October of this year, according to court records. Now, the judge ruled that Crawford is now primarily responsible for the child's care, which is the father, although Bowen-Wright will be allowed to visit under supervision. Did you guys catch that? In my opinion, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. In my opinion, this is cruelty, this is abuse, and this is damn near attempted murder. Cruelty, abuse, and attempted. Will Gatling said it. She needs to be in prison for life. And I've always said this. This is my opinion. This is where Texas is messing up. I've always said that a parent or a caretaker that abuses, misuses, or attempts to kill a child should never have a second opportunity to do so. How many times have you guys heard me say that? A parent that does something this heinous to a child should never get a second chance to do so. And what they're doing right now, and if I'm the father, I want to go against this quickly. Get your lawyers on this, bro. Open up a GoFundMe. Do whatever you need to do. Hell, we'll help support it. We'll at least share the word. The mother will be allowed to have visitation under supervision. That's insane. There's no way she should be able to see this child. The father, who is now working to raise awareness of this case, says his son is now in good condition physically because there was never nothing wrong with him to begin with. Medical abuse is underreported every day, he said. Now it's time to move forward and make sure that no child has to suffer the abuse my son endured. And the boy's father, Ryan Crawford, won custody. Now, we're getting ready to watch a couple videos here in a moment. If you guys are watching, don't forget to click that thumbs up, share the stream, let other people know that we're live. Thank you to everybody that's already done that. Now, Crawford said that his son is adjusting well, he's perfectly healthy, and no longer believes he's going to die. Bowen-Wright's sentencing is set for the exact date of October the 11th, so mark your calendars. That's right around the corner. October the 11th, we'll probably be doing an update to make sure that this bitch gets the full 20 years. On Friday, the boy's father, Ryan Crawford, told the newspaper that he's very happy that Bowen-Wright decided to do the right thing after 10 years. Eventually, the lies had to stop, and Crawford is now the sole managing conservator or a guardian or protector of the now 10-year-old boy. Let's go ahead and get this fair use popping, guys, and show you guys the news videos, because we did have a lot of them, which is good. We got a lot of coverage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
No one wanted to believe me until it was almost too late.
And he almost lost his son after all these years.
He almost died 3 different times due to infections from the 13 different surgeries. So he has a long road ahead of him.
In my opinion, she should have been charged with attempted murder. And as hard as Texas is on people that commit child abuse, I don't know why they can't put this in like the super category. The super child abuse. There's actually a super child abuse in Texas. They should have been able to get her for attempted murder. Yes, these are real tears. This is what tears in pain actually looks like.
And I hate that he had to go through that. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I talked to an attorney tonight who represented Ryan Crawford back in 2014. She said back then she collected hundreds of medical records showing that there was nothing wrong with Christopher. But she said the judge in the case refused to read those records or listen to their side of the story. She says she remembers it clearly because, in her words, it was the biggest flaw in the judicial system that she has ever personally experienced.
Listen at the reason. Let's listen at this again. I want to make sure that y'all hear this.
I talked to an attorney tonight who represented Ryan Crawford back in 2014. She said back then she collected hundreds of medical records showing that there was nothing wrong with Christopher. But she said
they had proof that nothing was wrong with this kid. They had hundreds of documents that said that nothing was wrong with this kid. And I want you guys to think about this. What else is he supposed to do if a judge refuses to look at facts and information? Isn't that what a judge's job is? I have facts. I'm not going to look at it. That's not going to be permissible in my court. We're not going to look at that evidence. What? Really? Rose, I want you to remember that they said that the mother tried to induce seizures. Not just claim he was having seizures. They said she tried to induce, make him have seizures. I digress for now. Let's talk about this. This judge was presented with hundreds of pages of documents proving that this child was completely healthy. And what happened?
Represented Ryan Crawford back in 2014. She said back then she collected hundreds of medical records showing that there was nothing wrong with Christopher. But she said the judge in the case refused to read those records or listen to their side of the story.
Judge needs to be held accountable too. Judge needs to be held accountable too. That's a fact. They need to sue that judge and get that judge off the bench. Guys, this is part of where your voting comes in. Your local voting. If that was my county judge, best believe I'd be out petitioning to get his ass out of that seat. This is why your local elections are important. Stop just letting any judge and every judge go in there. You just vote Democrat all the way down the list. You just vote Republican all the way down the list. You just pick and choose people you haven't even researched these people. It matters. Y'all talk about y'all vote don't matter. Yes, it actually does. In your cities, in your counties, in your states, it does matter. Where your numbers are greater, your voice is louder. I'm going to say that again. Where your numbers are greater, your voices are louder. Therefore, you need to vote. I vote. I do my job. So if we got somebody in my county, in my city, in my state that's doing something wrong, then best believe we get on that.
She says she remembers it clearly because, in her words, it was the biggest flaw in the judicial system that she has ever personally experienced.
And the father won custody. Thank God for him. And thank God for his kid surviving. That's a strong little boy right there. And I want you guys to understand, Christopher Bowen, who's 10 years old, this awesome looking young man right here. Tell me how awesome he looks. I want y'all to fast forward. Let's go back. Fast forward 10 years from now. He's going to be somebody. And I think he's going to be somebody special. And not because of his mom. I think he's going to be special because of his dad. Y'all look at those photos and tell me that that little boy is not going to be special. His mom absolutely deserves every bit of that 20 years. No. That's already passed as far as the getting bonded out. She currently recently, just like a few days ago, just pleaded guilty. So she's getting ready to get sentenced on October the 11th. Okay? Let me tell you guys what day of the week that is real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. October the 11th is going to be on a Friday. That's going to be a beautiful Friday, and we're going to be able to find out how much of that time she's actually going to get. And I hope that they give her every bit of that 20 years. To me, 20 years is fair. The kid lived. What she did was heinous. Now, let's go ahead and give you guys my closing thoughts. I think this story perfectly shows you guys why the movie A Fatherless America is so important and that you guys need to watch it. You guys need to take a look at it, rent it, share it with your family and friends. Man, it's so important because there is an idea out here that men are not valuable. Men are not needed. All they need is just paychecks from men. Women are literally only having these babies for the benefits that they can collect from them. But here's the other part that people continue to miss. I keep telling you guys, if you wonder why the crime rate is so high, why the prison rate is so high, and why these kids are out here shooting and killing each other the way that they do, I've always told you guys, and I want you guys to understand, that if these boys do not have their biological fathers in their life as representatives for what manhood is and what it should be, then what happens is they don't have that vision anymore. Then they're not going to see the other side of their DNA, and they're not going to see what it is that they should grow up into being, and they could end up emulating anything else. Usually what they end up emulating is the streets, which is not a positive thing. Therefore, they're not going to have the same level of value in themselves. That starts at home, and it starts while they're very young. If they don't have any value in themselves, they're going to go out into the world around your kids, around your family and friends, and they're not going to see any value in anybody else. They're not going to value property. They're not going to value hard work. They're not going to value discipline. They're not going to value anything. And the statistics prove that in their behavior. It's a very dangerous thing. And maybe you guys think that, well, that's just them. It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with it. You know why? Because kids that are going through that are going to be going to school with your kids. If they don't go to school with your kids and they live around your kids, they could potentially cause your kids to be victims of how they're feeling on the inside, how empty they're feeling on the inside. And guess what? Misery loves company. They could turn around and do that to your family and friends. They'll do that to somebody that you love. Every day that this violence is going on, people are getting shot, stabbed, robbed, ran over, blown up with rocket launchers. Yes, you guys heard that right. You did not hear me incorrectly. Blown up with rocket launchers. I'm going to say it again. Blown up with rocket launchers. It's a real story. Look it up. Google search this guy, this black guy. This black dude who killed a man with a rocket launcher in the United States of America. This didn't happen in Syria. This didn't happen in Africa. This didn't happen in the Middle East somewhere. This happened in somebody's backyard. This is a result of fatherlessness, and the statistics prove it. They are undeniable. The courts are failing us. CPS is failing us. But guess what? We don't have to depend on any of that stuff. That's been the AFC's message from the jump. Like my brother Bolo eloquently said when he called in and told everybody, DJ Just Jay said that it starts at home. We all should be bringing this message of love. That's what our platform represents. Our platform is a branch of a big, huge tree by the name of Tommy Sotomayor. We're supposed to branch out and continue to spread this love, spread this message, and a message of love and respect for children. If you give children respect, that respect will reciprocate itself. You will get that respect back, but you have to give it, and you have to formulate those bonds in that relationship from the moment that these kids are born. That's why every second is important. Don't take these kids away from their fathers for hours, days, minutes, weeks, months, for some people, years. Don't do that. Time is very precious, and a lot of us don't know when the day or the hour will be our last. Don't waste any time, guys. I love you guys. This has actually turned out to be a very positive story, and I'm glad that baby Chris Bowen is going to live and hopefully be a very productive young man by way of his father, Ryan Crawford. And as far as the 35-year-old mother, Kaylene Bowen-Wright, I hope that them jail bars are cold. I hope that those pillows are hard. I hope that mattress hurts your back. And I hope that somebody in jail gives to you what you gave your son, because you deserve it, and you deserve it for a very long time. And I hope that they max you out. 20 years sound good to me, right? Because you gave this kid 10 years of pain and suffering for no good damn reason. That's what we do here. You know what we are? The AFC. The AFC stands Advocates for Children. We are the advocates for children first. Prayer hands up in the chat. I'm glad, and I hope the judge finally does what's right. Give this woman the maximum. Shout out to that little boy right there. He's going to survive. He lived. This is a positive story, man. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys on the next stream, man. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. See y'all, man. Peace.